We'll be discussing about introduction to ISS. So where we'll see some basic features of ISS here, and then overview of ISS, and also we'll see the metric calculation in ISS protocols and the different levels, like we have some areas, and finally we'll be seeing some addressing, how the addressing is done in ISS protocol. Okay, so let's start with the ISS protocol. ISS is a protocol which is similar to your OSPF, which has the same features as OSPF because both are link state protocols. Now both are going to maintain the link state information of each and every route. So ISS was the protocol which was initially developed by OSI, Open Standard Interconnection. Generally it's a OSI based protocol. So initially it was working with based on OSI addressing, majorly into OSI protocol. Later on, this ISIS protocol has been modified to support your TCP/IP protocols. So which means now the recent ISIS protocol which we use, we called it as integrated ISS, which is modified to support your IPv4, IPv6 traffic, which means majorly it is going to support your TCP/IP traffic also, because in nowadays we use only TCP/IP protocol. So ISS has been modified to support these features. So it was initially developed by Digital Equipment Corporation, which was standardized by ISO in 1992, so which is going to communicate between the networking devices defined by ISO. So it's a link state protocol, classless, which is going to support your FLSM, VLSM, and all the similar features what we discussed in OSPF. It also uses the same algorithm which we use in OSPF, Dijkstra algorithm, incremental trigger updates, and updates can be sent as a unicast and multicast. A metric is slightly different when you compare with OSPF. We'll see metric in the next class. In the next slides we have a metric also. Administered distance is 115. Generally ISIS and OSPF are the two major protocols used inside the service provider network. The main reason of using them are they are link state protocols. They are going to maintain the link state information of each and every possible route. So these are the main IGP protocols inside the service provider network. They are proprietary, they are standard protocols, and also they are going to maintain the link state information of each and every route. Okay, so and the good thing about ISS, it is a protocol independent. It supports not only your TCP/IP, IPX, and AppleTalk protocols, but majorly we use TCP/IP here. So here the term ISS is going to refer as router. So we are saying ISS, intermediate system to intermediate system, nothing but we are saying router to router communication. So how we are going to communicate router to router? So ISS is going to stands for intermediate system to intermediate system routing exchange protocol. It was originally designed as a dynamic routing protocol for connection-less network protocol. That is one protocol inside your OSI. So it was initially designed to support to run over CLNP protocol. Now it has been little bit modified to support your TCP/IP also, but it was initially developed for supporting your CLNP protocol, which is OSI based protocols, we can say. Okay, it's a link state protocol similar to your OSPF, and there are no major differences between them, but there are some similarities as well as there are some variations when we compare with OSPF and ISS. So now the OSPF is as I said, ISS has been modified, which we call as dual ISS, or it is also called as integrated ISS. So ISS was initially, it was used as an exterior gateway protocol for OSI layer. Later it has been modified to support your TCP/IP, which we call as integrated or dual ISS. So dual ISS work with the change features. It functions similar to your normal IGP protocol, just like OSPF protocol, we can say, which is going to support much faster convergence when compared with OSPF. The default hello parameters, it sends hello for every 10 seconds, and the default dead timer will be 30 seconds. Means always it will be 3 times of your hello. So it's a more stable protocol similar to OSPF, which is going to efficiently utilize your bandwidth, memory, and CPU resources. So now the ISS protocol which we're going to discuss here is your integrated ISS, where we are going to run this ISS over our IPv6 protocols, and also we'll see how to run this protocol on IP version 6 as well. Now the metric in ISS is same thing, it's simple thing. The metric by default it uses on every link, it uses the default metric of 10. Now in case of OSPF, the metric will be calculated based on 10 to the power of 8 divided by bandwidth. Whatever the bandwidth you have, it will be automatically calculated and it is going to generate a value called cost. So majorly in OSPF, the metric will be calculated based on the bandwidth. But in case of ISS, there is no bandwidth calculations. Whatever the interface, each interface will be considered as the default metric of 10. It can be your fast Ethernet interface, or it can be your serial interface, or it can be your gig Ethernet interface. So whatever the speed of the link, the default metric will be 10 on every interface. If you want, we can even change it to any other number, but the default metric on fast Ethernet interface, or it can be on serial interface, whatever the speed of your link, it doesn't make difference. So the default metric will be remains always 10 here. So the next thing we need to understand in ISS is about levels. Just like we have in OSPF, we have some border router, we have internal routers. Similar way, the ISS is defined in different levels, and we majorly have 3 different levels. We have level 1 routers, which are similar to your internal routers inside the area. So level 1 routers are majorly referred as intra area routing routers, and we have a level 2 routers, which are considered as your external routers, which are responsible for exchanging the routes between the 2 different areas. So we typically call them as a level 2. And finally, we have the third category of the routers. We have level 1, level 2 routers, which has the features of both. Means these routers are capable of communicating with internal routers as well as they communicate with your external routers. So this is the basic difference we have. In OSPF, we have some area 0, which is considered as a backbone area. Here we have something called level 2, which will be considered similar to your area 0. So we'll come to these different areas in detail. So before we get into this particular layer 2 hierarchy, the first thing we need to understand the different types of routers we have in our company, in our ISS here. So let us see what is the difference in detail about these different types. The first thing, we are starting with level 1 routers. Level 1 routers are the routers which are going to establish the neighborship with only level 1 routers or level 1 level 2 routers. So it is more equivalent to your internal router. So it's just like your stub also. We'll see these things in when we come to the labs. Like by default, it will not allow the routes coming from the different area. So different area to get into that. It generally generate a default route. So this behavior we'll see by default when we get into the labs here. So it is going to maintain the database only within the same area, just like we have the level 1 routers only maintain the database of level 1 routers. Okay, so by default it is going to generate a default route. This default route also I'll discuss these 2 points, the stub and the default route points, when we get into the lab. Okay, so L1 should be continuous within the area, which means the L1 routers can only establish the communication with only level 1 routers. Like here I got a diagram here. So I got a router which is level 1 router, and this level 1 router will only exchange the routes with either another level 1 router which is in the same area. Let's take an example. This is one area, and in this area the level 1 routers exchange the routes only with level 1, and level 1 router also exchange the routes with another type that is level 1 level 2, because this level 1 level 2 is going to support, it will exchange the routes with level 1 and level 2. So this level 1 level 2 routers are actually exchanging the routes with other router which is in a different area. Like here in my example, this level 1 router is communicating with the router which is outside the area, as well as communicating with the router inside the area. So majorly your border routers will be majorly level 1 level 2 routers, which are responsible for exchanging routes between both the areas, means internal as well as external. So when you talk about level 2 routers are the routers, typically these routers are responsible for exchanging the route between the routers in a different area. Like you can see this router is in different area, which is area 1 or area 2, any area. Level 2 routers only exchange the route between the different areas. Suppose if you have a level 2 router, this level 2 router exchange or form the neighborship or exchange the routes with only level 2 routers, and this level 2 routers also exchange the routes with level 1 level 2, because it is going to support level 2 also. But this level 2 routers will not form the neighborship or will not exchange the routes with level 1, because by default level 1 is internal within the area. So level 1 will exchange the routes. Level 1, level 2 exchange the routes, but level 1 and level 2 routers, they will not exchange the routes and they will not form the neighborship. Okay, so this is one thing we need to keep in mind, this level mismatch, especially we call them as a level mismatch. If that occurs, in that case they will not form the neighborship and they will not exchange the routes. Now the last type of routers, we have something called level 1 level 2 routers, and these routers are actually communicating with both the internal routers. So it is communicating with your internal router, which is communicating based on level 1, and also communicating with level 2 router, which is in a different area. You can see it is communicating with the other router on a level 2 also. So this router is going to maintain, level 1 level 2 router is going to maintain the database of level 1, and also it is going to maintain the database of level 2. So it's going to maintain two separate databases, which is a level 1 database as well as level 2 database. And these are typically your border routers, like here, which are actually connecting to external routers which are in different area, also connecting to internal routers. And these routers are taking the route from the other area and then sending it to all the internal routers. And by default, every router, whenever you configure ISS, by default every router will behave like a normal L1 L2. L1 L2 is a default behavior of every router, but if you want, you can change a specific router to level 2, or if you want, you can change a specific router to level 1, depending upon the requirement. Like if my router is just communicating with only internal routers, then I can change it to level 1. If my router is communicating with all the external routers and there is no internal router, in that case we can use level 2 configurations, but not compulsory.